One of the greatest problems today is the disregard for the innate value of human life, evident especially in abortion. For this video, I decided to read 3 articles that explored abortion before the Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade decision in 1973, which made abortion legal at the federal level in the first and second trimesters. Rosemary Nossiff, in her article Abortion Policy Before Roe, Grassroots and Interest Group Mobilization, contrasted the policy differences between New York and Pennsylvania. She utilized various sources, including legal cases, books, journals, newspapers, public opinion polls, and interviews. In New York, pro-abortion advocates advanced legislation to legalize abortion year after year, and year after year it failed. Eventually, though, in 1970, the vote passed, making abortion legal in the first and second trimesters. The Senate voted 31 to 26, and the House voted 76 to 73. Today, New York has extended that up till birth for subjective health reasons. In Pennsylvania, pro-abortion groups sought the same in 1972, but pro-life forces managed to not only stop it, but actually pass a bill that banned all abortions except for cases where there was a threat to the mother's life. The House voted 157 to 34 and the Senate 39 to 9. However, the Democratic governor vetoed it, and then Roe was passed shortly thereafter. Nossiff described the difference between the states due to the influence of pro-life or pro-abortion groups, and both political parties in PA were opposed to abortion, while the Democratic Party in New York was open to changing its support for it. The second article I read is by Robert N. Carrer, is the National Right to Life Committee, its founding, its history, and the emergence of the pro-life movement prior to Roe v. Wade. He used well-known books such as Whatever Happened to the Human Race by Francis Schaeffer, The Morality of Abortion by John Noonan, and The Death Peddlers' War on the Unborn by Paul Marx, encyclicals such as Pope Paul VI's Humanae Vitae on human life, newspapers, journals, and minutes from meetings. His methodology was to trace a trend toward abortion liberalization by various states pushed by pro-abortion advocates, and the rise of the Right to Life organizations trying to stop that trend. In 1961, New Hampshire was the first state to pass a bill liberalizing abortion, but the governor vetoed it. In 1963, California sought to expand therapeutic abortion for physical and mental health reasons, but failed to pass the committee. Then, in 1967, Colorado became the first state to pass a law that liberalized abortion. The same year, the National Right to Life Committee was formed as a Catholic organization whose goal was to promote respect for the worth and dignity of all human life, including the life of the unborn child from the moment of conception. He then recounts how local right to life organizations such as Pennsylvanians for Human Life, the New York State Right to Life, the Voice of the Unborn, Women Concerned for the Unborn Child, and various Catholic conferences sought to prevent the trend toward legal abortion. He wrote, "The genesis of the Right to Life movement now can be seen clearly as the effort of ordinary people who established grassroots committees and small groups in the late 1960s. These organizations came together and transformed the National Right to Life Committee to the leading pro-life organization." The last article I read is Abortion in the Early American Press, Secular and Catholic Approaches to the Preborn Child by Ralph Frasca. He used a variety of newspapers such as the New York Daily Times, the Brooklyn Daily Eagle, the Pittsburgh Catholic, and the Catholic Telegraph. His methodology is to compare what secular and Catholic newspapers chose to say and not to say in regards to the unborn. What he found is that secular presses dehumanized the unborn child long before Roe, ignoring their humanity. They were sympathetic to women who died getting abortions and even sometimes to the abortionists themselves, but they hardly ever mentioned the death of the unborn child. He wrote, "Usually the humanity of the aborted children was ignored entirely or dismissed with biological or euphemistic terms." He noted how the press today continues this as it focuses on the political and reproductive rights aspects of the issue, ignoring the personhood of the unborn child. He came to 2 conclusions on the influence of the press. 1, long-term media refusal to acknowledge that life begins prior to birth, or that willfully terminating the lives of unborn children constitutes murder, fostered a public acceptance of abortion. And 2, since the rights of unborn children were long ignored and the rights of mothers to have abortions were trumpeted, Many disregarded the former and focused on the latter. Catholic newspapers and journals, on the other hand, emphasized the innate value of human life beginning at conception.